Hello and welcome everybody to the Pulse here with the co-founders of PeakBot, myself and Ben. We are excited to get into things here, show you everything from the option selling side of things, how we've automated it, show you some research, and how to better equip your portfolio to see some gains over the rest of the year here. So. We are excited to get into it. We will be going through a couple things here just to set the stage. I'm going to hand things off to Ben here in just a minute. He's going to be pulling up bar chart. We're going to be doing some analysis on some stocks from our watch list. And we're going to take a closer look at that watch list. We're going to do a ton of things while we're here. We're going to show you the PeakBot platform. For some context, for those who maybe are new listeners or aren't familiar, PeakBot is the automated trading platform for the retail investor. We've made it easy, affordable, and transparent for the everyday person to automate their portfolio and put a stock trader in their pocket. So before I get carried away and do my normal rambling, let me hand it off to my co-host here, Ben, for a quick intro, and we can get into it.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Dillon, for this for setting the stage here. Quick intro. Like Dillon said, I'm one of the co-founders here. I'll be taking us through most of the technical analysis here. We'll be looking through some data. Very brief, right? We know that the market opens in an hour, and we want to get our picks in and get our bots set up. If you're not set up on PeakBot, check out the ticker flowing down on the bottom of the screen. Send us a text. Schedule a demo. That link's going to be coming on screen in just a second. We'll get you set up in no time. So I think to get us started, let's head over and see which stocks have some high-paying premiums this week. So I'm going to pull up bar chart on my screen here.
Excellent. And while you're doing that, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, I'm just going to show everybody where we go to find active options chains, right? We want there to be liquidity in the market, especially when we're automating things. Like that's our main concern is, we've got a lot of people trading with these automations. We want to make sure that there's liquidity in the market and we can get people in and out of positions just fine. But what were you going to say, Dillon?
So I was going to say, I also put something in the chat here, just our website, usepeakbot.com. For anybody who wants to check that out, we got a lot of good information on there, our results, our watch lists, and everything else. But I know you got your screen up here, and let's get into it.
All right. So first step, when we want to find, again, we want to look for these liquid options chains. We want to find out, and then we'll filter out which ones are paying high premiums. So you're going to start by going to, at least we do, we start by going to bar chart. Now we do have a Premier account here. You can do this with a free account. You just won't be able to see as much data as we can see here. But if you didn't catch that, I clicked on options, most active options, click on that. And then this page gets pulled up and we want to filter or sort by options volume. Tesla's always on the top of this list. I don't think I've gone on here a single week and Tesla's not been on the top of this list.
Zoom in a little bit.
By far.
Yeah, always up there. There you go. Perfect.
That's better, right?
Yeah.
So this is great. This is a ton of great data here, right? But it's like, what do we do with all of this data, right? Now we just know from this, like which options are there a lot of activity in. It's important, remember, because we want to be liquid. We want to make sure that we can get into our positions at the price we want to get into. So what we do is we download this chart, this graph here, this table. So you can go ahead and click download. I'll go ahead and click it. Got my first download for the day. And I'm actually not going to pull up the actual Excel sheet, but I'll go through what we do to filter that. Now, last week we did pull it up, but we do want to save some time this week. We do want to try to get this show wrapped right around 9 a.m. so that way everybody could get their position set up before the bell. So again, we are trading weekly options. So what you can do once this list has downloaded, we like to filter out for any stocks that are over $150 or so. And we do that because we're mainly automating the wheel strategy. And if you think about the principles of the wheel strategy, you start by selling cash secured puts. Now, to sell a cash secured put, you need to have cash secured in order to place that trade. So if we're trading stocks that are priced around, like, let's say we were selling cash secure puts on NVIDIA. Let's just assume, for argument's sake, we were going to sell the 450 strike. We would need $45,000 in our account to just sell one cash secure put. Now, that might not be worth it when we see what premiums are actually paying out, right? So we like to filter in that regard. And then we also like to kind of cut off our list at around 20,000 in options volume. So that typically gets us between like 100 and 150 stocks after those two filters. Now, we've done the hard work for you. We've done all of that sorting. We've downloaded this data, and then we've compiled it all on our watch list. You can see here we've got the wheel watch list. You can find the watch list at usepeakbot.com/watch lists.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments. And okay, you did. All right, awesome.
I'm on it.
You're on it. You're on it. So there's a lot going on the screen. So I'm going to zoom in again. We're not going to be able to see everything, but I'm going to talk through each of these components very quickly, right? So we've got our tickers, and this is what we just covered. Top 100 to 150 most liquid options chains. I say we remove tickers that are priced higher than $100. There are a few exceptions. We have some requests, and if you have stocks that you want on this watch list that you like to trade in particular, let us know. We're very flexible. I think we just added ticker PATH for UiPath this past week because somebody was like, hey, Path seems great. They're paying out good premiums. Can we get them added to this list? I want to automate it. So we took a look at it and decided, yeah, why not?
If it makes sense, we're not gonna, we're not gonna throw something on here if it doesn't meet our requirements. But if it checks out, gets through our vetting process, we're happy to add it. So
totally.
Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Totally. No, sounds good. And then the rest of this information here is kind of just information on what the strategy that we are automating is, right? We don't need to go into the details there because we're going to go into the details down here. So we're going to take a look at the top. We'll take a look at some of the charts on the top 15 here. We'll probably look at 5, 6, 7 charts depending on how time goes. I do want to caveat this list with we are in earnings season. Now, when we're in earnings season, there's more risk. More risk equals more reward. We might see some high-paying premiums, but that doesn't come without a catch, right? The catch is earnings. Now, we're selling put spreads here. So different than just the traditional wheel strategy where you sell a cash secured put, we're selling a spread. So we are going to sell the cash secured put to begin, but we're also we're buying a call at a strike that's a little further away from the money. And to be specific, we are selling a put strike at the 30 delta, and we're buying a call strike or a put strike at the 10 delta. And what that's going to do is that's going to hedge our positions for any dramatic decreases in stock price, right? So again, the principle of the wheel strategy is if we're selling a cash secure put at a $27 strike, we're just going to use Upstart as the example here. If we're selling a put strike at $27 and on the day of expiration or at expiration, if that stock price is below $27, you have a chance of getting assigned 100 shares per contract there. Now, of course, if the stock price is $26 or $25 or even a little bit less, you're going to see an unrealized loss in your account because you are forced to buy those shares when you get assigned at the strike price, so at $27 in this case. Now, let's say Upstart is reporting earnings, which I think they are this week. Earnings.
You have a way of showing that in a second. We'll show you how to check that on.
Yeah, we'll show that in a second. Now, during earnings, and we saw this during Upstart's last earnings, I think Upstart dropped like 60% last earnings season. But what this is going to do by buying this put strike, we're giving you a bit of an insurance policy. We're giving you a little bit of protection. What we're saying here is with this setup, if the stock price at expiration drops below $22, you're not going to owe anything past that, right? So your maximum loss is going to be the size of the spread because you can get assigned shares at $27, but at the same time, you can sell those shares through the put that you bought at $22, protecting yourself from any further downside. So if we see another, call it 50% decrease on Upstart's earnings, bringing the stock price down to 13.50. Well, that's okay because we own a put and we're going to be able to sell it at $22, making our max loss $500. So the max loss column is important to look at. We want to be cognizant of that. And it's also about your own risk tolerance, right? Like if you don't want to go into positions that you could be risking, like in this case, $900 here, look for other stocks that you can start trading. Like look at Lyft, look at Plug, look at NVAX. Your max loss is a lot lower. Now, again, a lot of these are reporting earnings this week. So we do want to be wary of that. We don't want to get ourselves into positions that we don't want. And that's another important point to make is we don't really want to run this strategy on stocks that we don't want to own, right? You got to think to yourself, are you going to be happy owning 100 shares of Novavax? Do you know what Novavax is? Do you know what the company does? Do you know what their financials look like? These are all things to consider. If you go down further on this list, and you can see, like, we're going to follow this estimated returns column here. You could go down on this list and find names of companies that you might feel way more comfortable with, earn, maybe a little bit less, but these are weekly returns, right? If I'm trading PayPal, I'm feeling pretty safe about that. And I know that through this strategy, through selling this put spread, I can make about 0.7% return on my money every week.
Every week. That adds up.
It's compounding.
Yep.
So anyways, I think the point has been taken. So we estimate out the max loss. We estimate the amount of cash needed in the case of assignment, which is just 100 times the sold strike price. And then we estimate out what the net premiums are. What we do is we take the bid from the sold put, and then we subtract out the ask from the bought put. And then that's how we get to what the estimated net premium would be. And then we throw on the estimated return, which is just this estimated net premium divided into the estimated cash needed. And that's how you can calculate your return for the week.
Ben, I got a couple quick comments. So first off, again, as Ben mentioned, we're in an earnings season right now. This watch list outside of an earnings season, you don't often see premiums paying really above 2.5% very often, right? These are some pretty crazy numbers at the top. So do your research, understand the risks, not financial advice, understand the risks of trading during an earnings report, right? That just makes that stock much more volatile. Typically, we see the stock do this or do this. When you're trading contracts with 100 shares at a time or multiple 100 shares, you got to be careful there. The other thing I want to mention quickly is we're showing you what's under the hood right now, how all this works, how the logic behind, because it is important to know what's going on. I think we failed to mention one of our first shows. I was a little nervous at the beginning. We've automated all of this, right? We're algorithm providers. Our bots, the wheel, the iron condor, the credit spreads, we've automated all this to where the user experience, and we'll show you toward the end of the show, is very simple. Select the bot that you want to use, which is the wheel or the iron condor. Select the stocks that you'd like to trade, which you'd pick off of this watch list. We play a little defense for you. You're not going to go and select any stock that you want. If it's not on this watch list, PeakBot's not going to allow you to trade that on our platform. And the last one is set your budget, basically how many contracts you want to sell. If you don't own the shares, you got to have the cash. Nothing worse than getting your trade rejected because you don't have enough cash in your account. So these are all estimations on the screen here. Obviously, the stock price fluctuates. We update this watch list every Sunday around noon Eastern. But even between noon Eastern on Sunday and when we enter contracts on Monday around 11 Eastern, there's obviously price fluctuation. So keep that in mind. Just wanted to add those things.
And the noon Eastern is going to be for putting earnings. We don't have earnings dates on here now. We will next week. But the actual list with prices updates every day at 8 p.m. Automatically. And then on Thursday, it's Thursdays when it turns over to next week's expiration. So then you'll start seeing the data for next week. So anyways, we just covered the put spread data. Come back next week. We'll talk about the call spread data. If you're not set up on PeakBot or you're not trading this strategy manually, please trade it manually. I'd love for you to. I'd love for you to fall in love with the strategy and then say, hey, PeakBot, why don't you just automate it for me? But go ahead and get these spreads set up. Try it out if you haven't create a PeakBot account, go to app.usepeakbot.com and create your account. You'll get a 30-day free trial, no credit card needed. Hop on in, integrate with your Tradier account, and start automating these trades.
Excellent. And I think we have a question that just came through from a longtime supporter of ours, David Y.
Cool.
Is the bot going to close out the long side of the trades, or do we do that manually? Ben, I'll hand that to you.
Great question. On the put side, if the put is needed, if the bot put is needed to form that hedge, right? Then things will kind of take care of themselves automatically. So we do want to run that through expiration. So in the case that the stock price is above that bot put strike, then great, we'll let it expire worthless. That was our insurance policy, and we don't really need it after that. So we're paying for insurance. Same concept. Like if you don't use your insurance, you still pay for it. You get that protection, but you didn't necessarily have to tap into it. But that's good. We don't want to tap into our insurance typically. Now on the call side, and I said we'd be getting into this next week, so maybe we'll get into a little bit now. What we're doing on the call side is we are selling the 50 delta because we want to get you out of your positions. A lot of feedback that we've gotten was people want to get out of their positions faster. So if we sell the 50 delta, that's like right at the money. We'll collect more premium, and then we're also going to buy the 20 delta. So we still want to participate in upside. And through the past couple of weeks, I've actually experienced that myself, where stock increases 8, 9, 10% over the course of the week. And then all of a sudden that bot call is in the money. And then David, to answer your question, the bot will sell out of that bot call automatically. We start those orders around 10 a.m. on Fridays. So, or I say Fridays, but it's really the day of expiration. If the market's closed on a Friday, for whatever reason, it'll happen on a Thursday. So again, no need for you to hop in and address any of these positions manually. That's the goal. And then you can see here on screen, we've got our sold call strikes and our bought call strikes, estimated net premiums here. Estimated net premiums on the call side are going to be a bit higher than the put side because we are selling closer to the money. We're basically selling at the money at the 50 delta. And then we're selling a bit of a larger spread here. We've got a 30 delta spread. So we're paying back less premium. But those calls could be, they could increase in value pretty quickly if the stock price gets up there.
And the stock price is all the way, sorry, Ben, the stock price, and maybe depending upon what people think and when they use the watch list, as they get familiar with this new format, the stock price is all the way at the end. Now that list updates every 30 minutes. Obviously there's better places for you to check out the current stock price, Tradier being the top example. But that is showing you, hey, here's what a share is worth right now. And you can compare that to your strikes to see if you like the breathing room that you have. So just wanted to make sure everybody knows that farthest column is the current stock price updated every 30 minutes.
Cool. So like we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, and David, let us know if you have any follow-up questions that happy to answer. So as we mentioned a couple minutes ago, where do we go to find when a company is reporting earnings? Well, the answer is this watch list will show that next week. We don't have that set up for this week. We just made some changes to the watch list to where we can update this every day. That complicated things a little bit in terms of getting earnings on there. But in the meantime, I'll show you where we go anyway, and we'll do this every week. We go to FinViz, and we do have a FinViz account. We just go to the Screeners tab here. And if you select Screeners, select Custom, and then all you need to do is in all of these options that you see on screen here, you just need to, I'll zoom in a little bit. All you need to do is select ticker and then select earnings date. And then in this tickers box right here, you just type in the tickers that you want to look at and get earnings for. So I went ahead and just copy and pasted in the top 15 stocks on our watch list this week. And it turns out that 13 of the 15 are reporting earnings this week. So again, as we stated before, be cautious when trading. we will have this data in the watch list, maybe as soon as tonight. We'll see how things go throughout the day today. But
Don't
again,
be afraid of the bottom of the wheel watch list. Our happiest traders, quite honestly, are the ones who aren't what we call premium hunting. When you come to this watch list, it's very easy to see that Upstart's paying you 4.48% in premium this week. Again, risk and reward fluctuate together, right? Amazon, Verizon, and Starbucks aren't going to find themselves at the top of this watch list, but our traders who have a good amount of capital in their account and can afford those contracts, they're going to collect 0.5% from Amazon until the day they die. And if they're using PeakBot, it's going to happen automatically. So anyway, go ahead, Ben.
right.
We should get into some charts. I know we're not.
Yeah, we're running close on time. I'm just going to look at 3 charts. We'll look at Riot, Carvana, and Rivian. We've got Riot and Carvana not reporting earnings this coming week. Carvana reported last week, and then we've got Rivian reporting earnings after market hours today. That's what the A and the B means. If you see the slash here, A means after market, B means before market. So we'll pull up Riot. I'm going to go over to Tradier. And just take a look at their chart. I'm going to click the 1 month button here so we can take a look at the monthly chart. Now, if we're on the put selling side, if we're selling put credit spreads, that's typically like a bullish to neutral strategy, right? So we're looking for an uptrend in the stock at this rate. So if we're looking here, we've got some support around the $9 level. It looks from back at the beginning of October and then mid-October, we kind of were trading at those price levels. We're seeing some pretty big fluctuation here. Almost looks like a cup and handle forming here. So do with that information as you will. What I do love about Tradier, though, is if you scroll down below the chart, there's a technical analysis gauge here. Kind of looks like a speedometer. If you click more, I like to change this to a week. And I just want to take a look at the technical indicators that they're looking at. And then, how is Tradier interpreting this? Are they interpreting this stock as a sell? Is it neutral? Is it a buy? And we just said that this strategy, if we're on the put side, is a bullish to neutral strategy. So we want to look for anything on the right side of this gauge here. Now, if you're in the market for selling covered calls, that's a bearish strategy. We'd want to look for like neutral down to a strong sell. So according to these indicators, and maybe we'll get into the indicators on a subsequent show, but we don't have time to do that right now. But according to Tradier's technical analysis for Riot, it's looking pretty solid in terms of what we think the next week is going to look like. I know I'm running Riot on my account in my automated PeakBot portfolio. So that's the quick analysis for Riot. I will again mention now that this is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Got to get those disclaimers out there. But
Yeah.
This is all opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Carvana real quick.
Carvana's been a favorite of ours for the whole year.
Forever.
I mean, this was trading, as you can see, down at like what, $5 at some point earlier this year. I think we rode it all the way up to 55.
This was people made a lot of money on this stretch right here. I know that was the basis for like the huge padding I've got on my account now, but the shorter term has not been such a success story. We can see that Carvana is downward trending. Now, it looks like when they reported earnings last week, there was a nice boost there. I'd be cautious of that boost because there is a huge gap to fill right here. I shouldn't say huge, $2. But still, we do want to be wary because there's a lot of volatility here. And a lot of volatility, again, that means higher premiums. But higher premiums means higher risk, right? So it's all about the balance of risk reward. What do you want to look at? And how do you want to set up your trades? So I'm going to look at, again, the week technical analysis for Carvana. Now you see how that changed from a buy to a sell. We've got 12 sell signals, 10 neutral, and 4 buy signals. So the average here is a sell. I would be cautious of Carvana. Now, if you're on the call side of the trade, which I know a lot of PeakBot traders might be, then this week might not look too bad for you, right? You might be able to collect your entire premium, keep the stock, you're going to keep holding it, and then go ahead and sell calls next week. So again, do with this information as you will, not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own due diligence before making trades. And then the last stock that we're going to look at is Rivian. that up. And then Dylan, you want to get your screen ready to show everybody what they can do to get this automated on PeakBot?
When you're done here, I'll have it ready to go. I know you mentioned, I know we're getting tight on time, but you did tease AMC and beyond. So maybe you'll take a super quick look at that. And if not, you'll tell me to.
Yep. We could take a look at the technical analysis for those. So if we look at Rivian, I'd like to think there's a little bit of support between 1550 and 16. We do see from last week a start of a trend upwards. It looks like we're hovering around this resistance line around 1750. It looks like we're slightly above that. I'd monitor that. I would just take a look at price. I'm personally, I wouldn't be comfortable trading this, especially with upcoming earnings. But let's take a look at the technical analysis. We're going to take a look at the week. 12 sell signals, 8 neutral, 4 buy. Again, let's be wary of that. But overall, cool tool to use on Tradier. Go ahead and look at it. You can just log into your Tradier account. You can look at the research tab, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to look at AMC quickly. Look at the chart. It's pretty. I'd say neutral, but it's really not neutral. We're fluctuating from $9 to $11, so that's a pretty big swing. But let's take a look at the technical analysis. 13 sell, 9 neutral, 4 buy. They're also reporting earnings, and then BYND is also reporting earnings. And it looks like we are in a downtrend with, riding the market success of last week, kind of popping back up. We'll see if that market success continues this week. And then we pop on the week technical analysis, 14 sell, 6 neutral, 6 buy. So again, do with this information as you will. These are some cool tools to help you make your own trading decisions. And then of course, PeakBot is here to automate the wheel strategy for you. And specifically, we're automating a vertical wheel strategy, right? We're selling vertical, we're selling credit spreads. But anyways, enough hearing from me, Dylan.
Yeah. Let's get a little, that was very great analysis. Thank you, Ben. I'll tease you and say, Ben and the rest of our team, our other co-founder and everybody else, they are far more technical than I am. I'm the layman here. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is how I go about selecting the stocks. And I'm actually going to live show you right now how I'm going to fill up my trades for this week. Okay. So for me personally,
you want to zoom in, Dylan?
I will. Yes. I think I have a moderate risk tolerance. Okay. When it comes to the stock market, I've never traded the wheel before this year. And this entire calendar year, I've traded nothing but the wheel in my portfolio. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you guys really where my selections are. I have about 15K available in cash in my account. I'm going to fill that up. Okay. So I typically like to live in this range between 0.6 and like 1.2, 1.3%. After I get over 1.5%, I start getting a little weird. I start getting, okay, what's going on here? Why are things so good? And it's because most of the time, because the stock is so damn volatile. So I have 3 selections for myself this week. I'm going with American Airlines. So if we take a look here at this line, okay, what we can see here is that it's paying, that's a little lower than I expected it to be. Maybe I'll change that up. But for right now, I'm going to show you guys how to add that. Let me see here. You know what? Let me see a different one. LUV. Okay. So, all right, these are a little lower. I'm going to come up here. So, live show, hang with me. I'm going to go with PayPal right here. Okay. So PayPal's paying a 0.71% return. I need about $5,500 in cash to enter that contract. So I'm going to come over here to the PeakBot app. Again, this is at app.usepeakbot.com. All right. So I'm going to hit start here. And in 3 steps, we're in and out. Okay. We wanted to make this super easy. First step, select your bot. I'm going to go ahead and select the wheel. Now I'm going to type in PayPal. Step 2 is select your stocks. You can click the green view watch list button here, and that'll pop up a separate tab with the updated watch list. So now that I have PayPal, it's going to tell me in red here the estimated cash I need available in my account to enter that contract. Now you notice that dollar amount slightly higher than the estimated cash needed on this document here. That's because we are building in a little bit of a buffer. We want to make sure that you have enough cash to enter this. Nothing worse than thinking you're going to enter this and collect your premium and then you don't because you didn't have the cash available. So the third and final step is just enter the number of contracts I want to sell. So depending upon your PeakBot subscription, you can do up to 1 contract per stock, up to 5, or up to 10. You'll never trade more than 10 contracts per stock. So I'm going to hit 1 here. And so again, I selected my bot, I selected my stock, and I set my budget. Now, this advanced setting here, the PeakBot app is going to automatically hedge this for you. We're going to automatically sell a put credit spread here. Prior to a couple of weeks ago, this would be selling a naked put on the 25 delta. Now we're selling the 30 and buying the 10 on the put side. So that's automatically turned on for me.
You're gonna want to keep that checked.
You're gonna want to keep that checked. Not financial advice, but it's just, risk reward, far less cash and margin requirements, and more protection on the downside, more leverage on the upside. So I'm going to hit activate here, and what you're going to notice in the background is my budget in bots is going to go up, and you're going to see a stock added to the wheel here. After I confirm, boom. Okay. Now, as you can see under the wheel here, I have PayPal now active for 1 contract, and it is hedged. That's all I have to do. I'm done. I don't have to touch anything else. That contract is going to enter for me today sometime between 11 and 1 o'clock Eastern. We like to miss the first 90 or so minutes of the market. It's a little crazy, right? So let's go back to the watch list real quick. I'll just pick a couple others. Let me see.
You could add more than 1 at the same time. Dylan, maybe you want to do the Qs, TQQQ, SQQQ.
I have had it bad on those. I'm gonna avoid those. Let's go with I'm gonna go with Palantir and Coupang. All right, so CPNG and PLTR. So let's come over here. I'm gonna add 2 stocks at the same time now. So I'm gonna do CPNG, Coupang, and what was Palantir? Yeah,
PLTR.
So, and you can also type out the name of the business as well, Palantir, and it'll show up there for you as well. So this is going to tell you the collective amount that you need for both contracts. If I enter 1 here, it'll tell me. Now, if I enter 2, that's going to enter 2 contracts per stock here, which is going to double the amount of cash that I need available. So I'm going to just do 1. I'm going to hit activate here. I agree. And now they're set. So I have about 9,500. Maybe let's just go and select 1 more. And let's do, I'm going to jump back on Sunrun, even though that didn't treat me all that well earlier this year. I'm going to come here. I'm going to type out Sunrun, add it, number of contracts, hit 1, tells me my estimated cash available, activate, and agree. So I got about 11 grand, just about 11 grand active here on my contracts. And I'm set and I'm ready to go. Now, I understand that I'm going to collect my premium, right, for each of these contracts. Either way, right? So this is a passive income strategy, right? Set it and forget it. The most active wheel traders are in here every Sunday when the watch list gets updated and they're making changes. They're seeing it where they got assigned, where they didn't, if they still like the premium it's paying, if they're comfortable with it, and they'll make adjustments. Others won't touch this for a whole year. Those who aren't touching this are typically a lot lower on this watch list, right? So, the Amazons of the world and et cetera. So, yeah, Ben, did I miss anything here? I mean, it's that simple to get these stocks added to your portfolio. I think it's important to mention, definitely come and read these must-read guidelines. Nothing crazy here, but just important things to understand when automating your portfolio with a platform like PeakBot. And again, we pride ourselves on being accessible. There's a little chat feature in the bottom corner of your account here. You can message us at any time. That rings to our whole team. We're here to help. We can set up a demo. As you can see in the link below, we highly encourage, if you're watching this show and you're interested in PeakBot, schedule a demo. You're going to be talking with me. And we're going to get you comfortable and probably on your way with a coupon code. So I think that's it.
I think just to wrap us up here, and we're 5 minutes past 9, so getting ready for the market to open. All good. You know, a lot of our audience, I've got both of our both the YouTube streams pulled up right now. I've got the Use PeakBot YouTube channel, and we've got the Tradier YouTube channel. Feel free to watch wherever you want. We do encourage you guys to go onto the Tradier Hub with your Tradier accounts. There's a lot of learning you can do there. Check it out. You can hit a little notify button on the Tradier Hub, so that way you get an email every time we're about to go live. Check it out. And if you don't have a Tradier account, create one at usepeakbot.com/Tradier. Maybe Dillon, you want to pop that into the chat real quick.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have a PeakBot account, start a 30-day free trial. And you can do that at app.usepeakbot.com. And then there'll be a sign up page for you to go to. Looks like we have a comment on our YouTube. Hey guys, good morning. I picked 2 stocks last week on the Wheelbot from Miami Living. Awesome.
Good luck.
Yeah. Great to hear it. And then they say, how do I see how it did last week and if I have to make a change? So you don't really need to do anything to make a change. The bot's going to do the changes for you. That's the beauty of PeakBot. Like, you could just, let it sit. But the best place to see what your positions look like is going to be from your brokerage account. We do have a user results page in the PeakBot web app. But again, the best place to see how your account is doing is going to be from your brokerage. So again, we're not going to be able to pull in all of the data that is available on your broker, but we are able to pull in the trades that PeakBot has automated for you.
Yeah. And then really quick on the screen here, this is where we're referring to as far as seeing your results. You can go to account, click on my results, and then it'll show you all the information here. This is only going back to, I believe, the last week of May. So I apologize. I have too many tabs open on my computer elsewhere, so I'm getting a little slow on internet. Yeah, knew that was going to happen. Okay, well, as you can see here, you can toggle between different week, month, quarter, year, overall, and you can choose your different strategies. So I'm going to exit this. We'll get this off the screen. Something had to go wrong, and I'm glad it was just that. But yeah, so look, we're going to be live here on the Tradier Hub and our YouTube channels every Monday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, giving you the down low on everything option selling. Like we say, from exploration to automation. No reason you shouldn't have PeakBot operating for you in the background, whether you are an active trader staring at a stock chart all day or if you're busy at work with life, family, etc. So educate, automate, elevate. We will see you at the peak. If you have any questions after we go off air, you can contact us directly through the chat feature on our website. You can text or call the number on the screen below, and we're always available. We pride ourselves on being that. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.